Yes, because we're bleeding over into our Halo topic. Because we all want to
get into our party topic, which is Halo Mother Effin' Infinite. Everybody's been playing it.
Game's fun.
All the time. Who wants to start here? Who wants to kick this thing off?
Well, I tell you what, I'll kick it off because I was playing it from the very first moment it was available.
Perfect.
Downloaded that bad boy on Steam, loaded it up, and Jerp and I did some like 4v4 games. But we only did a handful, and then we hopped into Big Team Battle. But there are definitely plenty of errors and stuff. I mean, it's technically a beta. So if I really start from the top, I was not able to play the technical beta a month or however long ago because my GeForce Series 900 graphics card was explicitly not supported on their website. So I couldn't load up the game or nothing. I couldn't touch it. But I had a great time watching Carlos and Devi play in Discord. When I loaded this up, it looked terrible. It looked awful. I loaded into the game, and some of the levels would play okay. Like, the bigger maps actually ran better for me, which is counterintuitive. The smaller maps were much, much harder for my computer to handle. There were no smooth edges. Everything looked grainy. It was not good. But then I saw on a thread that I should go update my drivers, which makes sense, because if my driver wasn't even supported for the technical thing, it makes sense that it wouldn't run well right off the bat. So I ran those drivers, and man, like night and day, it went from looking like the time I played Apex and I plugged the HDMI into my motherboard instead of my video card, and it looked like an N64 game. It went from that to being beautiful, and now it runs perfectly well. Like, the only issues that happen now are usually latency based, and if I'm experiencing that, everyone is, but that's few and far between. The game is a lot of fun. It's gorgeous. There are no kill cams. I kind of wish there were, because sometimes I'm like, okay, what just happened? Like, I want to see what happens so I can do that same thing to somebody else. But the game runs great. Sometimes when you're in the menus, somebody will disconnect, and it's a real pain when you've got a big group, because the most people we had was either 8 or 9 of us at one point, and there's a high likelihood that someone is going to have an error. And when you do that, unless you just want to have that person wait for 20 minutes for your next game, it makes sense that you all want to drop out of your game immediately and queue up for another one. But that's a pain in the ass. Like, you got a whole group trying to play together, and you spend quarter of the time just trying to get your match to go. The menu system, not good. It's
it's a mess. It's a damn mess.
It's pretty difficult to tell where anything is. Yeah, that definitely used some work. And then the internet is on fire about the battle pass. Which the short of it, yes, they've come out with the patch, and we can talk about that in a second. But they put you into the game, and it's free to play, right? So I've paid $0. So how am I going to be so mad about getting nothing, like getting an amazing game but no customization options? You get in, and you basically have no customization at all. Usually games like this, even with a battle pass, you get some stuff, right? Apex Legends, the cool stuff is the legendary or epic rarity, but you get plenty of blues and stuff, the regular, the stuff for the poor people. Like me. But in this,
poor people.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you're gonna pay $5 for this, and you might get, like, for loot boxes or something, and you might get something cool, but you're gonna get a lot of mediocre stuff. So in this game, they don't even give you mediocre stuff. They just don't give you anything. So, like, I don't know. Steve was joking in chat. He's like, "How's everybody pretending to be broke when the game's free?" So I think actually tonight I might buy the battle pass just because I thought it was $30 and I was outraged about that.
$10.
But it's $10, which is not so bad. And by the amount of time I'm gonna put into this game, sure, I'm gonna unlock plenty of stuff. Especially because the battle pass apparently lasts forever. This one doesn't expire.
Yo.
So I'm gonna rebuttal what you just said, Thomas, because until they patch this thing, which they haven't yet, you are not gonna unlock much of anything for a long time. So unlike other battle passes, you only get experience for completing challenges. That's it. You don't get experience for just playing the game. So if you have a great match, unless you specifically completed challenges in that match, you will get nothing. And then when you do get the experience, it's like, beep. It just like the bar goes up like that much, and you're like, I completed like 3 challenges.
Yeah.
So what are we doing here? So I know that they said they're going to fix it, and they're going to fix it quickly. They need to, because it's ridiculous.
So
I've never played a battle pass where you don't get anything.
yeah, so when you play
it's wild.
individual games, it takes progressively more and more games to get an experience boost to your pass, which gives you levels, which unlocks things. But you have to play like 5 games to get the tiny little amount of experience that the daily thing gives you. I think that most of your experience is supposed to come from the weeklies, but in my case, my weeklies are bugged, and so the 3 weeklies I started with, you could not complete them. It was just bugged, so it never tracked your progress. And so you can re-roll challenges. So the 2 that I re-rolled, now they work perfectly, and it's great. But it's frustrating because the ones that I started with were really good, and I wanted to complete those. I still have a challenge to kill Spartans with the Heat Wave, my favorite weapon, and it says I have done that 0 times, and it's frustrating because
it's impossible. Yeah.
So I think the idea is that since they know that you're going to be playing more over time, that they put the most of the challenge upgrades into the weekly stuff, which I like because it's more appealing to people who play like 1 or 2 games each day, rather than like me, where I just binged a shitload of hours in one day, and then I did that 3 days in a row.
Even in like something like a Rogue Company, you were like doing stuff and getting experience for the stuff that you're doing, and it's like very easy to see where all that stuff is and like what it takes to get to that thing. Like you said, you re-rolled your challenges. You're gonna have to direct me to where that menu is to do that, because
it's not clear.
That menu system is bad. If you unlock stuff, it doesn't tell you exactly where it is. I just sort of discovered the other day when we were playing Devi that the things I had unlocked that were visual, like stuff that I could equip to my Spartan, I had to be wearing a certain suit in order to do that. And it was like, okay, why is this so difficult? Like, you've had so many years to watch what free-to-play games have done and like how to do it right, and they're like, well, let's make it convoluted as hell. They'll love it.
Ta-da!
Nom 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 nom.
Oh, Carlos, you're muted.
So I'm
really
not
weird.
like a forever 343 defender or anything, but for the people that have been playing Halo since 343 came on, they have, like, the way that I think of it is thinking of it like an NFL team getting a new head coach. Like, that's kind of how you have to think of it, because on the dev side of things, so much shit has changed constantly, literally year to year, since 343 got this fucking game, or the franchise. Like, this battle pass thing is still new to them, because the rec packs were a completely different thing. They did make a shit ton of money on Halo 4 and 5 for the microtransactions, and they have that same level of customer community conversation that Bungie had with the Halo community. It's absolutely wild to see that. Like, it's been constant community engagement about all this stuff. So they changed. Like, it seems like every 6 months they had a new idea for Infinite in particular on this. I don't know that they knew for sure that it would be free to play multiplayer until last year when we had the rumors starting. And I think that's the key point, like, just giving them that patience that I feel like they've technically deserved. Just the past year and a half for them has been
A wild ride.
such a wild ride of just absolute explosive engagement because it's the gaming community. That's how it works. Um, and so, I mean, Rogue didn't have the battle pass until what was it?
Right.
A solid 8 months after release. Is that?
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great right away, but it took a
And-
while to get there. But
Yeah, and I feel like they actually have some pretty fantastic community engagement as well. But they started from absolute zero. When they
I just have a hard time thinking about how big of a deal like Halo is, and then like whoever they've hired in to come game direct, take a look at that menu and be like, "Yep, all this looks good. Let's get it out there." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just have a hard
Well-
time like seeing that and being like, "Yo, like, why did somebody at some point go, stop? Everybody, stop what we're doing. This is too convoluted and weird. Like, let's make this easier."
Well,
I do
what
think
if
it's
we-
really funny.
Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think it's really funny because the technical previews, it was I think the second one was the first one that we actually had the capability to fuck around with the battle pass. But the whole point was, hey guys, we're giving you this fake currency to use it. Just go nuts. Just buy everything, customize your dude however you want to. Tell us if something goes wrong. That was the only thing that we had. Like, there was no skin in the game for us.
Mm-hmm.
There, everybody was just customizing and expecting that that's how it was going to be, when it actually comes out. So I think the expectation was set there, and I think that kind of screwed us all over a little bit on the conversation because they're like, hold up, how much is this going to cost? What?
Yeah.
And I'll say too, this problem isn't just a Halo Infinite problem. Like, the Battlefield menus are not that much better. Like, they're at least, it's quicker to figure out where I need to go, but there's too many menus.
Dude, when
It's like,
I played
what
Call
is
of Duty,
what are we doing?
when I played Call of Duty, I felt the same way when I was playing Warzone. I was just like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to care about here. And they would give me stuff sometimes. They would say, like, there'd be an icon that said free. And I'd be like, okay. And I'd click the thing, and it would bring up, like, a laundry list of things. And I'm like, where's the thing I'm supposed to click on? And I'd scroll, and I'd scroll, and I'd scroll, and I'd scroll. And somewhere down there it would say, hey, there's a star here. This is the thing you're looking for. I click into that, and I get another big menu. And I'm like, where's the thing? Just take me to it. Like, I don't even care about it. I'm only here because I want to get rid of the notification.
Yes.
But
we're not even getting notifications in Battlefield or Halo right now, which is, I think, that's part of the issue. Like, if they just did like little dots highlighting, hey, go here, go here, go here, like every free game that exists right now.
that's true. But
like, that would be very helpful.
let's reframe this. I look at it. So if I look at Twitter, you have people who are saying, like, wait a minute, you're telling me I'm playing games and I'm not unlocking stuff? What's the point of even playing? And it seems like a joke. Like, it seems like something you would say if you're being facetious. But people are actually saying that, which is a really silly thing to say out loud to other humans. But the idea is, like, once upon a time, we used to play video games because they were fun, and
yes.
like, if we didn't need, back in my day, we didn't need to have unlocks. We kept playing, we hit play again because we wanted to play
the game
again.
is the incentive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Like,
funny.
But
It's funny to see people
And
say that.
that's-
But with all the stuff, the turmoil, the turbulence that Carlos mentioned, there were times I thought, as someone who barely followed Halo news, because at the time I didn't have a PC with Game Pass on it, so I didn't think that I was ever even going to be able to play Halo, because I didn't think I was going to pay $60 for it at the time.
Right.
So I didn't follow any rumors. There was a time there that I thought that Halo Infinite might be canceled because there were so many changes of personnel where they're like, oh, the lead guy in charge, he left. Oh, the second person in charge left. Oh, the replacement for the original person who left, yeah, they left too. And so I was like, what is even happening in here?
Yeah.
So with all of that stuff, so we've been talking about, I brought up graphical issues. We talked about the test flight. We've talked about battle pass and customization stuff. The game is great.
The game is so good.
And if I had to choose which part are they going to nail, the gameplay or the battle pass and menus, I'm sure glad that they did it the way they did. The game
Yes,
is
for
fun
sure,
as
yeah.
hell, and I just keep like I all I want to do is play again. Like Devi, you and I have played into the wee hours the past several nights,
Yeah.
and it has been so much fun. And at the end, I'm just like, I should go to bed, but I just
And then you
want
just
to
wake
keep
up and play
playing.
immediately more.
and
I do
it's
have some good news.
yeah.
Sorry, you can go ahead and finish
Oh
that
no,
thought there.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, it's about the battle pass, and I've been looking for a time to jump in and say this, but there really hasn't been a good time. But they have heard our complaints, the public's
Yes.
complaints. They have heard it, and they are addressing it more quickly than we anticipated. With a hot fix that'll be coming out, like sometime relatively soon before the game's release, to where the challenges that you complete will more generously reward experience points.
Nice.
So they haven't really elaborated on if the challenges will be easier or if they will include matchmaking experience as is typical of Battle Pass experience and progression.
Right.
But at least the challenges that we do have at our disposal will be more lucrative, which is really all we really wanted. We're not trying to sit here for 3 years trying to gain 2 tiers of Battle Pass. So
It does feel like it just feels like it just takes. You're like, oh, I got 4 medals that match. That's pretty good, and I got 2. A couple of them are like 2 times, and it's like, like, what do I have to do? I have to be I just have to go on freaking killing sprees every time in order to make this thing go up. But I will
yeah,
say,
you're
like,
a good kid.
right, exactly. I will say though, like Thomas, you were saying, like, it's crazy for people to be like, well, I'm not unlocking anything. Why am I even playing? I had that experience with Rogue Company when it first came out. Like, and I tried to hop in and play a few times, and I'm just like, feel like I'm not making any progress. It's more like a progression thing. Like, am I getting something? Am I doing something here that like makes me feel like I've achieved something besides just a KD ratio? You know?
Because even Overwatch, you're excited to open a loot box. You're like,
Right,
it
yeah,
changes
something.
0 gameplay
Yeah.
mechanics. Like, I am on the
Right.
exact same footing as before, but
Yep.
I got a golden gun. That's pretty cool. Stuff like that.
I got a cool hat.
Right.
Whatever, like it's just something to make you feel like you've accomplished something in the grand scheme of this game. But the game is incredibly fun. Hopping in the Discord with everybody and playing, it feels like it's 15 years ago, and we've hooked up a bunch of Xboxes together, and we're having a LAN party at somebody's house. That's what it feels like, and
we've taped ourselves to the ceiling.
Yeah.
someone's taped to the ceiling to make room.
Rando, we don't even know him actually.
Yeah,
There's the pizza delivery
and
guy, but he didn't want to go back to work, so we invited him in.
Yeah.
It's cool. I thought Splitgate would help prepare me for Halo, and no, not really. Even though that's like the thing that everybody says about Splitgate is it's like, oh, it's like Halo and Portal. It's like, yeah, kind of, but not really at all.
Well, Debbie, you had something to say about that. What you were telling me last night that you were.
Nothing. No one.
I mean, do you want to say it in your own words? So I'm not.
But of course, no. So one of the things that I was anticipating after playing the first PC flight that I was in was that Splitgate is basically like going to spoil me, and I'm never going to want to play Halo Infinite because of all the things that I felt at the time Splitgate had over what I had experienced in that flight. And I'm just really happy to have been proven wrong by this early release from Halo Infinite, because I'm just having so much fun. And it's not nearly the slog that I felt the flight that I was in was, in the past. And I don't think that Splitgate has anything to fear in particular, because it definitely is its own like cup of tea,
Yeah, it's its own thing.
But at the same time, like they're not gonna like bite each other's heads off or anything. They're pretty much gonna go in tandem, and I'm really happy about the fact that I don't have to worry about FOMO in either game. There's always going to be someone playing Halo Infinite. There's always going to be someone playing Splitgate, and I'm always going to have fun playing both. And I'm really happy to be able to enjoy Halo Infinite. So yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
this is your first like deep dive into a Halo game ever, right? Like you've played a little bit of Halo 1 ?
That's correct. Yeah. And everything else I just kind of like watched, but not actively. So I kind of like have bits and pieces of like the lore and the characters and everything, but I don't really know what's going on.
Well, we had a bunch of people jump in this week where they had a similar situation to me. Halo Infinite's the first time I've played Halo on a PC. It's the first time I've played Halo since probably 2014, so 7 years. And
Yeah, last one I played was Reach. So whenever Reach was out.
yeah, so several of the people that have joined up, we have the same story where it's like, man, I didn't think I'd be playing Halo again, but here we are. And I think Carlos, you mentioned, somebody else did too. It's like, man, I see somebody on my friends list who hasn't been online in 13 years. You know?
I'm
Yeah.
old, Yusuke. Let's play some Halo.
Yeah, it's something about Halo that like made it great is you could go over to a friend's house and you could play in split screen and play online against people, you know, and like still feel like you guys were having a good time. Like that stuff is like those kind of like parties and like just hanging out with friends and playing the game. That's what Halo is. Like I don't even like it doesn't even like register to me that Halo is like a super competitive game because I think of it as like a party game that you're playing with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of friends in the room and you're just all hanging out. I know that it is that, but like it just
we
like
play Big Team Battle together, and there's so much chaos that it feels like
Yes.
you're playing a party mode, you know?
Yes. Yeah. And I would say there are some stuff with that where like they probably need to scale down how much the vehicles respawn. It's kind of ridiculous.
Maybe I have things to say about that, but
You gotta get good again.
we could.
Yeah, it gets to a point where you're like, man, if one team just is like just camping the wasps and just keeps getting them over and over, it's a real tough time.
Oh, but well, I am here to show you after this podcast, we're gonna play some Halo, and Chris, I'm gonna show you that it is okay if the enemy team has vehicles because on Tuesday, especially when it was just Devi and I experimented with every weapon. I played with every weapon there is, and there are so many weapons to take down vehicles. But most people only pick up the same weapons every single life. They ignore most of the weapons to get their two favorites, but their two favorites are only good against infantry. And so when you've got a team of 12 people and 10 of them don't care about half the weapons, of course the enemy vehicles don't get blown up, right? I posted a big thing in Discord of some of the discoveries I made where I'm like, hey, these are good at killing vehicles. These ones are good at assisting with taking down vehicles. Like, you're not going to do it yourself, but if you got a squad. And the deal is that Big Team Battle used to be 8v8. Now it's 12v12. So it's all that much more chaotic. And at any given time, you're almost always doing a team fight. Like, you'll have duels here and there, but very often it's like you and one or two people against them and one or two people. And so often you're never alone. I mean, whether there's an ally with you or an enemy with you, but you've got these sprawling maps. You've got equipment and guns everywhere, which I love because instead of having loadouts, which I did like about Halo 4, I liked having a loadout with my specific stuff. I really liked, I had a loadout for a guy who carried around the mounted turret. He was real slow, but had a huge gun. And then the other one was a guy who sprinted all the time. And those loadouts are fun, but now in Infinite, there are so many weapons all over the map that no matter what you want to play, you can play it because there's never going to be no weapons available. There might temporarily, you might have to wait like 20 seconds sometimes, but if you really know where all the weapons are, you're never going to run out. And so it allows you to explore these pretty well designed maps, I think, to see like, oh, here's this item on this mode. Like the guns always respawn in the same places, but between matches and when you change modes, different things will spawn in different areas. So one time there might be a shotgun sitting here, but then the next time you play, it's a needler. And that adds a little party mode element to it too, because you don't always know what you're going to find. So it really incentivizes you to explore the map all the time. There's a button you can press that will scan the environment and show you where all the equipment spawns. So if you squat up in Halo and your buddies have been playing for a week and you just started, you press that button and it's so much easier to find everything than just walking around these massive maps and doing it yourself. But man, game's fun. I think our last game we played last night, I think it was before you left, Carlos. We were on whatever map it is. I can picture it. Don't know the name. And we were playing with bats too. And there were like 6 explosions per second for like 3 minutes straight. Because we were trying to capture this.
Oh, fragmentation, I think.
Oh
I remember
my
that match, yeah.
goodness. I should have recorded it because it was straight up like almost machine gun fire. Just explosion, 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 explosion. Because everybody just respawns and hurls their grenades across the map to the one capture zone. But my goodness, the game is just full of so many great moments that, like, I'm glad you can go back there. The Halo Theater still exists, where you can go back and rewatch your games. The medal system is fun. There are lots of clever and unique medals where at the end it's fun to read out loud the cool stuff you got.
Yep.
Of course, if you get like a big medal, like something really cool, then it broadcasts it to the whole match. So if you get a ninja, which is where, let's say 2 of us are running at each other, but I jump over you and turn around and hit you in the back. It's called a ninja. And it broadcasts to the whole map, and it says, so-and-so ninja'd, or it would say, Chris ninja'd Carlos. You hate to see it. Like, it actually says, you hate to see it in the chat.
That would never happen, by the way.
Oh, no.
No.
No, with that attitude.
Yeah, not yet. I got to get good. It's been so long. I have to get back into like exactly how Halo works. It's not
Okay,
like
so no rank tonight, boys.
Yeah.
Just quick match.
yeah, just quick matches. I mean, we could try ranked. It'll just be tough times for us all.
I just gotta say before we transition, like the link I put in chat for the Halo Infinite as told by Steam reviews is fantastic. Please read that. It's so funny. My favorite one being British people be like Halo Infinite. Like,
oh no, it's in it. Oh
review.
my god, I love that.
And that was the entire review. So yeah, check out that Kotaku link.
Amazing.
Oh,
Real
I love
quick,
this.
let's do a quick round before we end the show and take a break really quick before we start streaming Halo Infinite. Oh my
Oh, yeah,
god.
baby.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's favorite gun. Let's go, Thomas.
Mine's easy. Mine's the heat wave. Like in a lot of games, when people don't like something, it usually means that I don't have to compete with it. So since everybody that we've played with hates that weapon, I started picking it up because I'm like, well, it's always available, so I'm going to get good with it, because also, if nobody else uses it, then nobody knows how to play against it. So I pick up this weapon that's kind of an energy shotgun. It shoots these bullets that ricochet. You can either fire it in a horizontal spread, and it's pretty wide, so like you fire it at somebody and you're definitely going to hit them, but you're only going to hit them with like half the bullets maybe. Or you can change it so it's vertical, and if you can line up your shot, you will land all 6 shots on an enemy Spartan. It's much harder.
It feels good when you do it too.
Yeah, and so with the energy weapons in the game, when you get a kill with them, the enemy disintegrates, which always looks cool. But something I learned from playing around is that if you use that weapon on vehicles, not only does it absolutely shred the vehicles, but if you get a headshot on an enemy while they're in the vehicle, they and the vehicle both just turn into dust. They just evaporate. And it is really satisfying.
Nice.
Okay.
Devi, what's your
I have 2. My first one is the Hydra right now.
Okay.
The regular fire is just like a little tiny energy missile, or I think it's an energy. It's glowy and pretty, so I think it's energy, but I could be wrong. But if you right click for alt fire, it becomes lock on, and then you could just like mash your shot and kill an enemy Spartan in like 4 hits. But I like to use them on vehicles. I'm very anti-vehicle. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that
it's
half
good
of
on
my dialogue
vehicles.
last night was like, "I'm getting in the wasp. I'm going after the enemy wasp. Okay, I'm getting this warthog. Okay, this vehicle's down." Like
Mm.
that's all I do is I like to get rid of vehicles because they're atrocious. I hate them.
Yes.
Um, so the Hydra is my first, and then the second is the Skewer. It's actually tied with the Sniper,
Yeah.
but I like the Skewer better because it gets rid of them vehicles.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
baby.
too.
It just fires a giant fucking spike lance, and like with the I keep calling it the Hydra. The Hydra's the gun. With the Wasp, the flying vehicle that will mess your team up if you don't kill him, one shots them, and there's they
Mhm.
cannot dodge it. I mean, if you hit him with that thing, that's the end of the story. That's it.
I'm pretty
Yep.
sure it's hit scan. I don't think there's any travel. Like, despite it being a large projectile, I don't think it's in. There's if there is travel time, it's like minuscule,
Yeah,
like
it-
so
it's-
Yeah, it's
tiny.
pretty short.
It's pretty short. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a
Uh,
good stuff.
What disappoints me is that if you melee with it, it's like a giant bayonet on the end of a gun, right? So you would think you would attack with like the spike on it. Nope, you just elbow. You know,
a bow baby.
what
Yeah,
are you gonna do?
video games.
Carlos.
Yeah,
What you got for
my
your favy?
fave is the VK78 Commando. This baby is basically
Damn,
the
the
Halo
government name?
1.
Okay.
Yeah, this is basically the Halo 1 Magnum in rifle form. It is a fast rifle, but you've got like 20 shots maximum. The thing is that it's incredibly accurate, like pinpoint accuracy. I would almost say it's for anybody doing ranged stuff. It's more useful to have the Commando than it is a sniper rifle, just because of the magazine capacity. But you basically don't ever find commandos on the field. There's like 2 spots on any map, and they're always gone.
Yeah.
And I always die with them, so I never have commando for like past the
Follow
first
Carlos'
round
buddy.
of death.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty much just that. But yeah, it's pretty legit. It's very close to the quality of the battle rifle for me, and the battle rifle does not get old. The battle rifle's close to Halo 3 standards, Halo 2 standards.
Yeah. Dude,
Very good stuff.
And
Oh
as in
my God.
like an assist weapon, the way the shields work in this game is that no matter when someone has shields, when they're at full shields, they take equal damage no matter where you hit them. It doesn't matter if you hit them in the head or the foot. They take the exact same amount of damage. But once their shields are down, even one bullet from any weapon a headshot will kill them. Body shots are going to block a bunch of damage because I mean they're still wearing like an Iron Man suit. But if you hit them in the head, they are immediately dead. And so the battle rifle, since it fires 3 shots, bop, if you break the shield with the first two shots, and the third one hits them in the head, they're immediately dead. So like if Carlos is fighting somebody and doing all the real work, and then I just show up with the battle rifle, I can get last hits
Yep.
so easily. Which is cool because in my experience, it really encourages team fighting because once somebody's shields are done, you just need one bullet. So if you can just stay near your allies and wait for enemy shields to be down, you can just fire almost no bullets at all and just get headshots all day. Because the BR used to be overpowered back in the day. In Halo 2, there was the noob combo where you charged up the plasma pistol, which like homes in a little bit and kills your entire shields. And then you'd switch to the battle rifle and fire one bullet and you'd kill them.
That was such a good time.
It was overpowered. And then the battle rifle was nerfed for several games after that. Like it just wasn't this. It was never the same. So it's nice to see it back in a position now where like battle rifle feels good.
Hey.
Yeah, I'd say I'm a big fan of the battle rifle, but I started learning my role in the big team battles is like, hey, stay here and protect. So I have really enjoyed using the Bulldog. Once I figured out my role and I was like, I'm going to sit here and hang out and just protect the point, protect the flag, whatever. Somebody comes running in, it's like, bow, bow. All right, well, they're gone. Who's next? Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Bulldog.
Man, that range definitely sucks. I mean, appropriately for a shotgun, but it's worse range than any Halo shotgun has ever had.
I feel like I'm never
But
hitting anything with it.
Yeah, you like it's satisfying to watch shoot, but when you're actually doing it, you're like, Am I? Yeah. No. I'm dead. Okay, thanks. Like, close quarters combat is still a little rough in this so far.
So that's going to do it for episode 49. Thank you for watching and or listening, everybody. We will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye, party hardy.
Peace.